Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let me present for you a presentation according to our agenda concerning some issues and some events related to possible and actual Russia's use of chemical agents against Ukrainian defenders on the ground. I am Artem Vlasiuk, Chief of Civil Protection Division of Sibran Defense Office of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, and will give you this presentation today for next couple minutes, and we'll answer your questions afterwards, of course. Next, please. Here is our agenda for this presentation. We will cover some questions and some matters of how Russia behaves last couple of years, how it goes when we try to make any countermeasures, how we developed according to this scenario, and how we respond. And not only we, but more international community and other counterparts and actors within European Union and other civilized world. Next, please. What Russia usually do, alongside with usual means of firepower during the warfare, Russia is using very widely non-conventional means of warfare and firefighting. At this matter, we observe a big amount of use by Russia of chemical riot control agents in particular. What we see on a battlefield is more than 11,000 of cases of use of riot control grenades, such as K-51, RGVO, which are used by Russian soldiers against our defenders in trenches to incapacitate them, their abilities to accomplish their own mission, to make them expose themselves to Russian fire, and to successfully capture our positions as a result of such attacks. Some of them are very successfully, especially when people on the ground are surprised, and the worst case is that when people don't have enough time to use their own protective measures, such as gas masks, because Russians usually use all mentioned grenades with UAVs, with combination with UAVs, which is distracting and sometimes surprising, because usually the sound of UAV means that it's FPV drone, but in combination it might be successful. Mostly people in trenches protecting themselves with gas masks and just waiting until the cloud of contaminated air is spreading on or blowing out from their positions by wind, and then keeping doing their mission, defending their positions. Next, please. Usually, Russian Federation using different chemicals. As I mentioned before, over 11,000 cases are recorded already. At this point, we calculated almost 35% of those cases are use of chemical riot control grenades, K-51 and RGVO type. But some of them, which are unidentified mean mostly that during those recorded those cases, we know that Russians used riot control grenades, but we don't have we or either don't have access to that place, or we have losses on the ground when we just lost those positions that have been attacked, and we cannot get access to take samples anymore to those positions. Some portion of events of recorded cases depicted by improvised explosive devices equipped with different handmade, homemade reservoirs filled with hazardous chemicals such as ammonia or mercaptans, which contain sulfur and causing not very pleasant scent around the positions, make that environment and that position almost impossible to be there. All samples that we take, next please. All samples we take by our specifically trained and equipped mobile reconnaissance teams. We are gathering for giving information for our superiority, for our leadership, and in this case, we have quite spread and detailed statistics, what's going on the ground, and we can make a statement that there is a quite direct dependence between intensity of use by Russians riot control grenades and their own offensive efforts. We can easily see that directions or vectors where Russian troops are carrying out their offensive and assault operations. Mostly, in most cases, they will use riot control grenades or similar or specifically designed improvised explosive devices to deliver dangerous chemicals to our positions, to incapacitate our soldiers, and to gain some kind of success if there is always possibility that they will be successful. Concerning documentation and sharing information of gathered data about Russians using riot control grenades and other dangerous chemicals. Now we deployed monthly giving an information for our Ministry of Foreign Affairs via a specific unit within Ministry of Defense, which goes directly to our international partners, such as Organization for the Prohibition of Chemical Weapons and other interested players and partner nations. Next, please. What we do, how we developed our own capabilities comparing to what we got before full-scale invasion. Next, please. First of all, thankfully to our partners, to our donors who allowed us to equip and to increase our capacity and our capabilities, especially in chemical reconnaissance. Now we possess now we have 15 mobile reconnaissance teams, which are able to be deployed to carry out tasks of screening the environment and gathering samples from that contaminated environment which they observe according to algorithms and keeping integrity of chain of custody due to trainings and exercises they've been taught and involved in during their preparation. They were equipped with quite sophisticated. Of course, it's not. There is always not enough to be perfect, to be equipped enough, and but still they have quite limited, but still ability to detect, to identify, and to collect samples with chemical contamination, including shards of exploded riot control grenades, pieces of equipment, tissues, environmental samples, and proper. Is it okay? Through proper packaging, we are sending all those samples to the designated laboratories to have a opportunity to confirm what we found on the ground and to keep to take part in the very sophisticated and complicated process of keeping Russia accountable for their uh, breaking of international law. Next, please. At this point, developing our capabilities in cyber reconnaissance, in chemical reconnaissance in particular, we have got a possibility, a capability to be able to rapidly deployed to any kind of any point alongside all the front line, not less than 2 hours. At this moment, we deployed already almost 10 cyber and reconnaissance teams mentioned before to keep as much to be in as much informed as it possible. That gives us an opportunity to be involved in a rapid response during recording and reacting on the riot control agents' use on the ground in any particular brigade, which exposes on that matter. And at this point, we have quite big opportunity to respond and to provide additional protective equipment to those brigades and to send some increasing to send additional forces concerning cyber and reconnaissance, and if it's needed, decontamination to the most severe and suffering units on the front line. Speaking about what we would like to to be able to do, or to how we would like to develop in the future. If it's how it mentioned on the slide, we have an idea to become someday a part of international collaborating task force, to contribute our capabilities, to contribute our experts, to have opportunity to be a part of big investigation and gathering intelligence team, to create a spread base of experts and professionals who are able to be part of international community of international, let's say, expert community in this matter. Next, please. Concerning our technical capabilities, what we had and what we reached right now. Before full-scale invasion, we possessed on the old post-Soviet Union techniques and technical equipment, which was available from our storages and from our protective equipment and measures developers. At this point, after full-scale invasion began, due to our constant cooperation with partners, we gained a pretty spread list of detection, decontamination, and protective equipment, which allow us to increase our own capabilities and speed up the process of preparation of new soldiers and surgeons as members of mobile reconnaissance teams, who basically carries out tasks of primary or initiative gathering and collecting all information about chemical environment, especially alongside the front line. Laboratories, quite limited capabilities at the moment. We are working on increasing of those capabilities for armed forces of Ukraine to be able to launch or to carry out tasks regarding field identification, and unambiguously confirming presence of chemical contamination in samples we collect from the ground. At this point, laboratories are almost unavailable. We trying to improve, to increase those capabilities, especially with our friends from European Union, but it's still in a project in our projects that we delivered to them through different international platforms, such as information sharing initiative or other events related to global partners which held in Krakow at the moment. During development of this war, we found out that UAVs could be and are a key mean of delivery, or to mean of use of any kind of different activities, either attacking or detecting, defending, and surveying. At this matter, trying to to be updated as much as possible, we deploy some of our UAVs with portable detectors such as CamPro X or LCD 3.3 to be able to detect chemicals without taking part, without presence of basically our specialists on the ground at in the point of measurement. These tries are not very spread because at this point of this war, electronic warfare is quite effective, especially on some directions where Russians deploy their own stations and complexes, which limits our own capabilities in this matter. But we are keeping conversation with our partners, especially with French friends, to share with us some technical capabilities to both to use and to test them on the ground, how effective they are, how could they be improved, and etc. Next, please. Next. What we have at this moment, after sharing information with international community concerning Russians' use riot control grenades and some other dangerous chemicals, we have several statements, even from OPCW, which were during the fall of 24th and the very beginning of 25th, about realizing or confirmation that Russian armed forces really using riot control grenades as means of warfare against Ukrainian soldiers in trenches. At this point, Russian Federation was trying to launch their own misinformation and disinformation campaigns to neutralize our own activities, but it's still incompatibly weak, because we given to international community not just proclamations, not just words. We give statistics, data, information of some features which shows that it's really truly gathered information with no propaganda and with gathered with professionals who have been trained with in accordance to international standards and have proper level of proficiency and level of expertise. That is why our evidences, our data, and our portions of information from us given almost full picture how Russian Federation violates international law and the Chemical Weapons Convention in particular. As you all know, use of riot control grenades as a mean of warfare is prohibited by Clause 5 of Article 1 of mentioned convention. That is why Russian Federation is trying to counter our activities concerning blaming them in such a violation of international law. Concerning other platforms and events we have multiple statements from different platforms, such as UN or European Union Parliament, when separated politicians and officials are expressing not only concern but uh, clear statements that are blaming Russia in violence of international law, what was mentioned before. That tells us that international community is informed and know how to divide information for actual information, for information which depicts current situation, and what messages are true and what are not really, that's spreading as a spam through media and different platforms as well. Next, please. From the very beginning of full-scale invasion, all aggressive activities by Russian Federation were going alongside with informational warfare. Since the very beginning, since spring 2022, we often have seen informational messages with different kind of blamings that Ukraine is producing and developing bio programs with battle mosquitoes and ducks, with very sophisticated and selective bacteria that could harm or kill genetically born Russians in particular. They were blaming us that we developing different types and kinds of biological warfare, of chemical warfare. They were trying to convince international community that we are trying to resurrect our nuclear program. All these messages are false, and you can easily check if they have any portion of truth. Simple fact checking gives you direct understanding that Russian propaganda, Russian informational warfare is quite developed, but they still doing it not very satisfactorily, really. And you can see that any kind of information that we are spreading, you can easily check from different sources of information. Even using just communicative frames, saying that we have something to say, we have some information to share. We trying to inform international community that we standing against big force, which not counting no money, no human lives, any other kind of resource to make our world believe that they're right. And that is kind of weird because they are too poorly believed, and all that information that they provide breaking so easily. Next, please. Now, seeing and watching, observing what gaps do we have concerning inter agencies cooperation. We developing a new mutual spare doctrine to increase capabilities in scale of state to be able to strengthen and to share capabilities between different branches and different agencies. At this point, we given opportunity to State Border Guard, National Guard, some capabilities of decontamination which are available for us, and we take in some reconnaissance capabilities from them. And as this example can tell, we forming first, second, third step on increasing our own capabilities as a state. We try to develop, but war dictate us to increase, to strengthen ourselves faster. And we try to reach this goal with your assistance, because tough times demand very, very specifically designed decisions to improve all sides of defensive and economical and other branches and vectors of state development and region development. At this point, we are working to become better, stronger, and to provide proper security for Ukraine and for all civilized world. Next, please. If you have any questions, please ask. Thank you.
Dakuyu, Artem, thank you. We're sad you can't join us in Charleston, but thank you for taking time today to deliver your presentation so that we can share it.